I'm honored and happy to invite Osama Liwat and Rotem Levine from Salt of the Earth, their organization. These are two people who responded to October 7th in a way that I haven't seen anybody else respond, which is they stopped their lives and they left and went and decided to go around speaking, trying to find some other way, instead of the way that we're all caught in. And I invite Osama and Rotem to come share their words.
Shalom lekulam, bruchim habayim. Thank you for the invitation. Yeah, it's very special. I've never spoke in synagogue in Yom Kippur. So sorry. Yeah, I'm excited. So yeah, I've never spoke in a synagogue in Yom Kippur first time, and it's very special for me to be here. And thank you for the invitation, for the trust. I know this topic is very charged, and maybe people here have different stories and different triggers and different pain. We are here trying to open our hearts to share a different story, a story that made this possible. And yeah, I hope that it will inspire you, to give you some hope, and also some understanding and courage to speak up and to help us change together the situation, because the situation now is very, very horrific. And we are scared for our families, we are scared for everyone, all the people. For us, we stopped seeing Palestinians and Israelis. It's human beings, and I want to invite all of us to unite to save humanity from this situation.
Thank you, Rotem. I am Osama. I want to say, first of all, thank you for having me here, for including me. And that's what I learned about Judaism. Since I was a kid, I grew up with a lot of fears and hate to this faith, because I didn't know about it more than soldiers and army and fears. And 15 years ago, somehow I succeeded to meet Israelis who showed me different way, who told me that Judaism has nothing to do with occupation, and being against occupation has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. They told me that Judaism is a religion of love, not hate. It's a power of love, not love of power. And since then, I started to see it different, and I feel very honored to be here, to be with you, to share these moments with you, and to remind ourselves that this fight of the cousins is not serving us, is not serving our prayers, not serving our religions, not serving our hearts. Somehow we need to stand for each other, because somehow we are cousins. When I found out that we Palestinians are mostly originally Jews, I was shocked, and I went to check my DNA to make sure that I'm pure Palestinian. And I found out 35% Ashkenazi Jew. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have words. I'm just so touched to see you here, to be part of this, to show the world that we can. We shouldn't, we feel each other, we understand each other, we can include each other, we can include each other pain, each other narratives, each other fears, and be there for each other and fight together, because there is no land more holy than human beings. Yeah, we are the holy ones. I hope we understand that we are more important than lands and powers, and I hope that people understand. It's the most difficult year for me, because I learned a lot about Judaism and the Jewish people and the Israelis. I learned their language and their culture and their prayers and their love and their big hearts. And I can't justify their blood anymore. I can't see these women crying their sons, soldiers, or innocent people, or the kids around Gaza, or the kids in Gaza. Just painful. Yeah. I feel I'm speechless. Thank you so much again. Igmar Khatima Tova.
So yeah, I want to share with you a different story that maybe you have never heard before, that changed my life. So yes, I was born in one of these kibbutzim or moshavim where people don't believe in God. And this is actually the first time I fast in Yom Kippur. Something like the distance maybe from the homeland made this connection more possible. And yeah, I'm here. I have no words. Okay, so I was born in this village and I didn't know Palestinians. I've never heard about Osama or anyone like him. I was surrounded by Jews. And I started to be afraid, scared from Palestinians when I realized as a teenager that there are terror attacks and they are attacking us and I don't know them. There are no Palestinians around me. So who are these people who are keeping attacking us? And yeah, it was very scary, second intifada, to understand that buses are being exploded by Palestinians and I don't know who they are. And yeah, maybe at the school I again, no Palestinians in the school, so I don't have anyone to relate to. Who are these people who are attacking us? And I started to understand that when I will become 18 years old, I will be a soldier to protect ourselves from the Palestinians who are keeping attacking us. And growing up in Israel, I as a teenager, I remember I started to realize that everyone is actually going to the army. No exceptions. All my family, all my friends at the village, my teacher, everyone were soldiers at some point of their life. So I started to have this inner motivation. Wow, I want to go and be like everyone else. I want to protect my people. And this was maybe, I think, the idea of what it means to be an Israeli for me. To be an Israeli is to go and serve in the army to protect us from them. But I don't know them. And then my mom started to take me to a ceremony because her cousin was killed as a soldier. And we used to go every year to the graveyard, and soldiers from his unit used to come to participate in the ceremony. And my mom always welcomed them with so much love and respect and appreciation because they are those who protect us. And I was told that Itamar, her cousin, was killed so we can be safe. And I remember at some point of my, like when I was a teenager, I started to have this motivation. I want to go and serve in the same unit like Itamar. I want to be a fighter. I want to protect my family. And yeah, at the age of 18, I was recruited to the same unit. It was like a commando unit, and I was so proud of myself. Everyone was so supportive. All my friends, all the teachers, all my family. It was as if I reached the top of my lifetime somehow. I felt so much love, so much appreciation, and I didn't have second thoughts about what I'm going to do or why I'm going to do it. I was so aligned. I felt so good about it, and I was even a bit proud of myself. And yeah, in the army, it was very intense experience for 2 years, like I was in another universe. And after 2 years of like intense army trainings, my team was taken to a Palestinian village in the West Bank. Actually, I think I didn't really understand that we are going to the West Bank even, or Yehuda v'Shomron. We are going to a village. the wall, it wasn't really a thing for me back then. And in the village, we crossed the village by foot in middle of the night, no one in the street. And when we reached the center of the village, the commander came to me and told me to take the shock grenade and to throw it into one of the yards. And I remember I didn't think twice. I was so focused on what I was doing on the mission, on following the orders. I just took the grenade, I threw it, big boom, then silence again. Everyone is probably terrified inside their homes. And yeah, on the way back to the base, suddenly Nevod, another soldier in my team, came to me and told me, you know, Rotem, I think we shouldn't do such things. And I remember it caught me unprepared. I haven't even imagined this thought. I was so much focused on what I have to do. And I want to do it the best way I can, to be the best soldier, to protect my people. And yeah, I was confused there, and I'm like, yeah, actually, why did I do it? There was no one. And then suddenly the commander came to me, because he heard this conversation, and he said, guys, you are soldiers, you do what you are told to do, and this is the end of the conversation. I don't want to hear about this anymore. And yeah, and for me, I remember this until this day, because it was the first time I felt, wow, there is something here that I'm not aligned with. I don't really feel that I'm doing the right thing, actually. And yeah, I was released. Luckily, after 3 years, I didn't have to fight or to shoot. I wasn't traumatized. But yeah, I was very much programmed to be a soldier. And it felt bad inside. I felt disconnected somehow from myself. And a year later, after like many other Israelis, we go to take a break after this intense experience. We travel around the world. And I came back to start medical school. And just before going to medical school, a friend told me that he's going to Germany to meet Palestinians from the West Bank. And I was, wow, is it possible? Like, I can go and meet these people? I was always told that I shouldn't go there because it's dangerous. They might hurt you if they know that you are an Israeli there. So I was excited because, again, I had many thoughts like, what's the issue? Why do you keep attacking us? Why do you hate us so much? And yeah, in Germany, I had like a life-changing experience. I met a group of 20 Palestinians from the West Bank. And they were sharing with me a story that I've never heard before about refugee camps, about Nakba. But for me, I've never heard these things before. Refugee camps, Nakba, what do you mean? So yeah, they told me that they were born and raised in refugee camps, but originally they are from where I am, from inside Israel. They called it from 48. And what's your independence is our catastrophe, they said. And yeah, the details, so over 400 villages were destroyed during the war, and 2/3 of the Palestinian population were expelled from their homes, and many Jewish refugees came over and took the homes that were not destroyed in Haifa, Jaffa, Jerusalem, and Karen. And yeah, for me it was very, very painful to realize how ignorant I was about their story, about their narrative, about their pain, about their feelings. We sat there for 10 days sharing tears, emotions, pain, and it was very healing for me to connect to these people. Not from a place of someone is bad and someone is good. I think each human being can be bad and good, and it's our choice to choose our path. And I think now we have an opportunity to change the situation. I think now the situation is so bad on the land, so many people are suffering, so much pain on both sides, that now we should unite and change it forever. And it's possible. We just have to believe in ourselves and to change the paradigm of peace by power. Because it's a very bad paradigm. And we all see where it's going. I think peace can be guaranteed by relationships. This is the way to have peace. If we will get to know our neighbors, their stories, their pain, recognize their narrative, not because our is not right, because there are two narratives here, both are right, and it's time to find a way to agree that we have to stay together and no one is going anywhere, and we have to build a new home for all of us, where everyone is included, where everyone has the same rights, where everyone is safe and free. Thank you.
Yeah. I usually share my story and I talk about what's going on in West Bank and how I grew up and what's the situation. But today I feel I don't need to share my story because I don't feel Palestinian. I don't feel Arab. I feel a human among you. And a smart rabbi taught me that if you feel your pain, you are alive. But if you feel other people's pain, you are human. And I'm here as a human being to tell you as brothers and sisters, people, kids who did not choose any side are suffering, are paying prices that they did not do anything to deserve this punishment or this death. Our peoples are killing each other in 2024, and today Yom Kippur is the day of forgiveness. Let's really connect to this day and forgive each other. Let's try to work on our sins and make it different. And I want to tell you the system that works on the land discriminates us according to our faiths. That shouldn't be in the name of Judaism. When every Jewish person on the land have all the rights and I don't, even if my Hebrew is better than his, this system is not right. This should change. And the land is not the only safe land for the Jewish people so far, unfortunately. We need to unite together to make it safe for everyone, because it won't be safe for one side. Yeah, and I have a lot of hope. I have no words, really. It's for the first time, seeing this gives me enough hope and less words. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here again. And I just want to say, עוד יבוא שלום מעלינו, ועל כולם. תודה רבה.
Thank you very much. I want to ask you guys a question, if it's okay. Rambam, the Maimonides, he talks about tshuva. right? Tshuva, this repentance that we're supposed to be doing on this day. And he says it all depends on your belief that you're able to change. If you actually don't think you can change, you can't make tshuva. And so I'm really interested in the change. And we heard a little bit from how it happened for you, but Osama, I'd love if you described a little bit how your change happened, because I know that, if we had been talking 15, 20 years ago, you would have been talking very differently. So I'm curious how that change took place.
Yeah, so as I mentioned before, I grew up, don't know about Judaism more than the soldiers who expelled my grandmother and who expelled my family to Jordan, and my father from Jerusalem to Jericho, and soldiers front of my school, and soldiers demolishing the house of our neighbor and arresting everyone. And I wanted to take revenge. I wanted to take revenge not from Judaism and not from Israel and not for Palestine, from this soldier who's making my life scary and scaring everything in my life. And I call this soldier the Jewish, because the state, the country, showed us they represent the Jewish people. And I grew up with all these fears which turned to hate. And in Israeli jail, I was arrested as administrative detention, administrative prisoner. That means the Israeli commander can arrest any Palestinian from 1 day up to 3 years without a trial. And this law doesn't work on the settler who live next to me. And this is not fair. And I started to throw stones and do violence. And then I heard about agreement, peace agreement, and I loved it. I loved that the fact I am safe. I can leave my house after sunset and not see soldiers in the street. I'm safe to go to my school and not run every day from the school from the tear gas. I'm safe to travel between my cities without being stopped at checkpoints. And I supported this peace agreement, and I joined the Palestinian police. And after a few years, I felt that this peace is not working. It's not like the settlements are growing, and they telling me that Yehuda Vishimron is more important than Haifa, so how are they gonna give it to me back? And I joined the resistance again. 2010, it was the first time I met Jewish people without uniform. Yeah. I was 30 years old, and I was surprised that there are Jewish people, they care about my narrative. For the first time, a woman said that we are Jewish. I believe we have the right to live in our land. I believe we have the right to exist here. But I don't think we have the right to keep other people under military control without rights, with less rights, discriminating them according to their faith. This is not my Judaism. And if we agree with her or not, that opened my heart somehow. That cracked my narrative. She cracked my narrative stronger than the soldiers and the army and the weapons and the tanks and the jails. All these things added hate to my hate. And I wanted to know more. I wanted to know more about these people because I didn't know about them. The system is not discriminating us only, it's separating us. Yeah, we don't speak the same language, we don't go to the same schools, we don't use the same public transportation, we don't use the same streets, in order to keep us separated and far, because that's how you can divide people and keep them under control. Who's living next to me, the settlers all around, we don't know each other, we don't connect to each other, we have only fears. And when this woman said this, I felt so bad that she's speaking, talking for my narrative and my rights, and I don't know anything about her. And I decided since then to go back again and to know more about Judaism, something hidden that I don't know more than the soldiers and the army. It shouldn't be this way. And I started to learn about the Jewish narrative and to participate in holidays. I was so happy to feel, I felt so connected, but I felt so confused. How you celebrate Chag HaChirut, the Passover, and you putting us in siege. sage. Like, yeah, how you celebrate your freedom and put other people inside closed areas. And I started to try to connect to their narrative and their fears. And for the first time in my life, because I don't have passport, I don't have airport, I'm not a citizen, I'm not a resident of the country, even though my great-grandfather was born there and my great-grandmother was Jewish. I flew first time to see what happened to Jewish people in Europe. And I felt like I am the Arab guy, the one who used to bury his friends and hide his tears and go to run and fight out of hate and revenge, could not control my tears. I couldn't. It was powerful, it was stronger than me. And this time, for the people who I used to be happy when they die, for the people I used to feel revenge when I heard them, and I came back convinced this is not right. We are two victims fighting over who's more victim than the other, and fighting over, who's more right and who's more wrong, and we forgot that we are brothers and sisters and cousins. And I decided to make a group to bring Israelis and Palestinians together to break the system that's separating us, to bring people to know each other, to meet each other, to see each other, because that's how you rebuild the respect between human beings. When we look at each other's eyes, we can't justify each other's blood. When we know each other, we can't really go and kill each other without panicking, without thinking of the humanity of the other side. Yeah, and since then I'm trying to spread this message. The system there is working against both of us. As long as there is discrimination according to our faiths, we're going to keep fight. The only way to guarantee the safety of the Jewish people is to give freedom to Palestinians. And the only way to give freedom to Palestinians is to guarantee the safety of the Jewish people. Yeah, so I'm asking all of you, instead of America sending us weapons and tons of explosions, maybe we can build joint schools, maybe we can build joint cities, maybe we can build places where our kids in the future can meet and fight together instead of fighting each other. Yeah, that's what we are trying to do. And to do this and to be able to reach this place, we need to create places to meet as human beings. And as a Palestinian poet, his name is Mahmoud Darwish, said before he was expelled from Deir al-Assad, he was in love with a Jewish woman. Her name is Tamar Ben Ami. When he was in Lebanon, she wrote him a letter asking when we are going to meet. He said, after a year and the war. She asked, when will the war end? He answered, the time we meet. Thank you.